Almost Famous with John Shea. Featuring local and independent musicians from the South Shore, Boston, and New England. On 95.9 WATD.
Welcome to the Tiny Stage Hour of Almost Famous 95.9 WATD, introducing you to independent bands and musicians from across New England. Every Tuesday, brought to you by Tiny & Sons Glass. My name is John Shea. Now, first things first, if you're a local musician with original music and you'd like to hear that music on the radio, get in contact with me. You can find all the information on the Almost Famous page at 959watd.com. While you're at it, give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram at Almost Famous Radio. And subscribe to our podcast, which you can find at almostfamousradio.com or by searching Almost Famous WATD on your favorite podcast app. Tonight, we're being joined on the tiny stage by an old friend, Brian McKenzie from Rhode Island. Brian, how you doing tonight?
What's up, John? So good to see you again after the last 2 years of craziness.
Absolutely. So how's it been for you over the last couple of years?
It's personally pretty bad. How about you?
Not much better, I think.
Good. I've had a tough couple of years just for my own reasons of different issues going on, but I'm feeling better and health-wise and whatnot, and looking forward to getting back out there. And this is stop one, actually. This is the first show, quote-unquote, I've played since I lived in Austin in March of 2020.
Wow. That is amazing. Thank you for making this the first.
Absolutely. Thank you.
For those who don't know you, give an introduction.
My name is Brian McKenzie. I am a singer-songwriter based out of Rhode Island initially. I lived in Nashville for a while, worked out of Nashville for quite a bit. Austin, I go back and forth here and there. And I'm singer-songwriter. Started in the metal side of things, believe it or not. I was in a band called Kilgore, and we were on Giant Records at the time, which is part of Time Warner, and been doing the solo, quote unquote, with a band, but been doing the singer-songwriter thing ever since.
Cool. I want to talk more about the metal side of your life in a little bit, but
sure.
You've got some new music out there.
I do. I have two. I have a newer single that I put out actually in August. It's called "Through to You," and that was recorded in Massachusetts with my buddy Bruce and at American Bull Studios. And then I think it might have been 2 years before that, I had a newer single called "Will It Fall" as well. So those two are my newest pieces of music. Very
cool. Any ideas about possibly including those as part of a larger project down the road?
Yeah, I think eventually I'm going to put those on an EP. I'm actually starting work this week to do another kind of a hopefully 5 or 6 song EP and maybe have it out by the winter, but I was thinking about putting those 2 songs on there as well if possible.
Cool. If people want to learn more about you, what's the best place to go?
BrianMcKenzie.com.
Excellent. Let's start off with a song. What are we kicking off the hour with?
This song is called Higher Than This. It was the first video I put out from my last record, which is called Bruising from the Fall.
Let's hear it. Brian McKenzie, the tiny stage is yours. 95.9 WATD.
We can be higher than this. Cause I felt that way in your kiss. We can be more than we are. And I can be better by far. And I won't believe, I won't believe that there's nothing left for you and me. And I won't believe, I won't believe, 'cause you're now a part of me. We can be more than okay. If we could just push this away. And I know we made some mistakes, can't bend but not break. And I won't believe, I won't believe that there's nothing left for you and me. And I won't believe, I won't believe, 'cause you're now a part of me. We could be so much more. 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 We can be higher than this. We could be so much more. We can be higher than this.
Brian McKenzie on the tiny stage tonight. 95.9 WATD. Talk about how that one was written.
I guess it was more of a relationship type deal, you know? All my stuff is kind of really personal, I guess. So I do, a lot of people can write songs and they kind of base it on a story that's universal to everyone, but I do kind of grab from my own stuff and my own experiences and kind of go from there for the most part.
How long has music been a part of your life?
My whole life, really. Yeah, I started by playing. I played a great badminton racket on my bed when I was a kid, so that was pretty fun. And then I actually was. I went to LaSalle Academy, which is in Providence, and we actually had a rock band during the time I was in high school. So I was able to be in that band and perform concerts as part of my high school extracurricular activity, which was pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What is your very first musical memory?
Probably, I think my first concert was Chicago when I was a kid. My family took me to see that, and I was super young. But then,
Which era of Chicago was that? Was that the Peter Cetera time?
I think it was Peter. I think so. I don't even actually remember. I was so young, but that's my first pseudo memory. But I would say probably my mom took me and my sister to see Bon Jovi and Cinderella at the Providence Civic Center.
Oh, God. That must have been awesome.
It was awesome. I was totally into the rock thing when I was a kid. And then, I got so into, back then, I got so into, Iron Maiden and then all the thrash stuff and everything. So I was really, really into music from probably 6th grade on.
When did you make the transition from rock and metal to more of the Americana folk country?
Well, I actually, when we were touring and stuff, when we all had our, I'm dating myself here, but we had our Discman at the time, and we would all have our collection of CDs with us, and while we were in the van, just letting the hours pass by, I hardly ever listened to metal, actually, because that's what I did every single day was play metal, so I just gave my ears a break, and I was always kind of listening to stuff like that on the side, so I actually was really influenced a lot by Glenn Phillips and Toad the Wet Sprocket, and I would listen to that stuff on the road quite a bit because I just love the melodies and the harmonies, and there's just something about that band that really kind of brought me, I think, into the songwriter I am. So
that's very cool. That's Brian McKenzie. He's on the tiny stage tonight. When along that journey did you realize that you could earn a living with your music?
I have yet to find that out. Back in the day, we actually got signed, and we had, we had a publicist, and we had a manager, and we had a booking agent, and we had people that went out and put all this stuff together for us. And those days are obviously gone. And so at this point, it's kind of just do what you can and just push it all yourself, and you have to wear every hat in order to move forward in music. I really I applaud the people who can. It's not easy for sure, but I have a day job as well, so I need to do both, of course, but I won't stop doing what I'm doing for sure because it's in my soul and I have to.
Looking back at that time when you did have a manager and you were signed to a major label and doing all of those things associated with that type of musical career, what do you like more? Do you like the career that you have now better or the career that you had then better?
I think I liked how much work you didn't have to do then. You had people working in your corner to make all that stuff happen for you. So it was definitely a lot less stressful on your part. You got to just show up to the next place, play your heart out, and then find out where you're going next and do it again. So I do miss that. However, I don't. I enjoy the style of stuff that I've been doing. I'm older now, and not that I don't. I still love some of the metal stuff, but this is like where my heart and soul is now. So, and it has been for a few years. So I enjoy this aspect better.
Let's hear another one of your songs. What's next on your set list tonight?
Let me move this sheet. This song's called Later On.
Okay. Brian McKenzie on the Tiny Stage, 95.9 WATD. Whenever you're ready, the Tiny Stage is yours.
Thank you.
Blues of the shoreline, the air turns with warm, bright minds. Record plays. Sooner or later, the needle will play from the groove. It's engraved. I tend to reside stuck in yesterday's pride and tomorrow's fading dream. And out to the ocean, I pledge my devotions to what doesn't mean. 'Cause I'm feeling so fine, wrapping up these thoughts of mine, and I'm saving the rest for later, for later, for later, for later on. Open the doorway and thinking a new way about where I've been. 'Cause I had enough, but with old wounds and new blood comes in. Some begin. 'Cause I'm feeling so fine, wrapping up these thoughts of mine, and I'm saving the rest for later, for later, for later, for later on. Ooh, 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 and I'm feeling so fine, wrapping up these thoughts of mine, and I'm saving the rest for later, for later, for later. I'm asking a favor for you just to savor the time we have here. 'Cause everything changes, I'm out of your range and it all disappears.
Brian McKenzie tonight on the Tiny Stage. Talk about that song.
Yeah, it's so funny because I wrote this one a long time ago and I can't remember exactly. A lot of times my songs will actually be about myself as far as things I'm going through, and it's as if I'm speaking to somebody else about what they're doing or whatnot, but it's more internal. Sometimes it's just about feeling good. Sometimes it's just about dealing with your self-doubts and whatnot. And I think that one's a combination of both.
So talk about how you write. Do you go through a ritual to kind of help spark inspiration? Does it come naturally to you? Walk us through your songwriting process.
A lot of people write, they have the lyrical idea and they have, what they want to portray as far as an image and whatnot. And I write everything melody first. So I'm a total melody guy. Sometimes I'll hear a new record and I'll listen to it a few times and I don't even know what any of the lyrics are yet because I'm so into the melody of things. So oftentimes I'll actually write a song and I'll know the vowel sounds I want, and then I fill in all the words later on.
That's cool.
So it's a little different, of course, but I do my best to still put some thought-provoking lyrics in there, so it's not just me writing whatever just to fill the space. I try to create an overall good song, I hope, but yeah, it definitely starts musically first for me, and then lyrically.
When do you know a song is ready to be shared?
That's tough because I think I deal a lot with my my OCD. So it's I just replay things and listen and change this and change that and listen, and then finally either the people that I record with will be like, okay, we're done, or I'll just say, this I feel good about it. There's nothing that makes me feel like I need to change anything else. This song feels like it's ready to go, and then that's the time it can go.
Once the song is ready, how do you then work out the arrangements with your band?
I typically demo the stuff myself on Pro Tools, and I play all the guitars on all my records, so I do all the overdubs of all the other parts, any leads or anything I want to do there. I usually have a pretty good idea of a bass line in my head, and I usually have a pretty decent idea of what I want for drums and whatnot, so I'll kind of get a practice going and bring whoever is going to be recording in that. I have a group of each. I have drummers that I love and bass players that I love, and I kind of work with. There's a small group of them, but I kind of scatter it around. So one time, this drummer and this bass player are on this record, or whatever it may be. But once we work that all out, then we just go in the studio and start tracking.
So, final question to this kind of segment here is, so you've got the song is ready to be shared, you've got the arrangements worked out with the band. When do you know it's ready for an album release or a single release?
I think when I can listen to it and not cringe.
Good answer.
Like if I think there's something, look, I gotta nail that vocal part. I'm a little flat there. I gotta go back and do that. Or it's as long as I feel like it's the best representation of the song and the best possible, recording of all the instruments and arrangement, and it sounds like it's top quality stuff compared to everything else that's out there, and it's ready to go. Then it's ready to go. Remind
us again of the new singles that are out there in the world.
It's actually, there's Through to You, which I just recorded, finished it up this year, and just got released in August. And that actually, there's a video for that as well on my YouTube page, which is Brian McKenzie Music. And that was shot down in Narragansett area in Rhode Island. And then Will It Fall came out 2 years ago as a single. And those are the two newest ones right now.
I think 2 years ago in quarantine times was like 6 months ago.
It was yesterday. Exactly.
So this is Almost Famous. I'm John Shea. We're introducing you to independent bands, musicians from across New England. Brian McKenzie is our guest tonight on the WATD Tiny Stage. We are up against our first break of this hour. We have a lot more to chat about, more songs to share as well. So stick around right here on 95.9 WATD.
Almost Famous with John Shea on 95.9 WATD.
And welcome back to the Almost Famous Tiny Stage, 95.9 WATD. I'm John Shea. We introduce you to independent bands and musicians every Tuesday night, brought to you by Tiny & Sons Glass. If you're a local musician with original music you'd like to hear on the radio, reach out. We have all the contact information on the Almost Famous page at 959watd.com. While you're there, follow us tonight on Facebook and Instagram at Almost Famous Radio. And we have a podcast, which you can subscribe to by searching Almost Famous WATD on your favorite podcast app or at almostfamousradio.com. We are being joined tonight on the Tiny Stage by Brian McKenzie. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Sounding fantastic tonight.
Oh, thank you very much.
Give us another introduction, if you would.
Sure. Are you talking about, for me? Or
for you. Yeah.
I'm Brian McKenzie. I'm singer-songwriter based out of Rhode Island. And, check out my stuff at brianmckenzie.com.
How about website, social media, anything like that?
Yep, brianmckenzie.com, and then Brian McKenzie Music on social media. So that's the key.
Excellent.
word.
TikTok yet?
No TikTok. Yeah, I don't know. I maybe. I feel like I'm a little old for that.
And what's out there for music? There's a couple of albums, some EPs, singles.
I have three full-length albums. No, 2 full-length albums and an EP and 2 singles, yes.
Cool. And are those all up on streaming platforms?
They're on all streaming platforms. They're also on my website, and you can also check it out on Bandcamp as well.
Awesome. And we talked about this during the first segment. We'll mention it again. Some new singles released over quarantine.
Exactly. Yes. This one I'm going to play next, actually. It's called Through to You.
Cool. Let's hear it.
Okay.
Brian McKenzie, 95.9 WATD on the tiny stage.
Know when your thoughts spin round, neither clear nor aware, so far off the ground. If you try, trust your heart, and you feel the wave, let it catch you. Can I do to just get through? God can lie. Is that really the case? Or your truth's deep fried? 'Cause you know when you're looking in, sometimes what you find can upset you. Can I do to just get through to you? Reasons you allow yourself to get stuck in the same place are the self-created bars you leave behind. The putting off and ignoring it is the concrete that you lay, and you might stay still, but time will always go by. With or without you, can I do just get through to you? Can I do to just get through to you?
Fantastic. Brian McKenzie on the tiny stage, 95.9 WATD. You were saying on the commercial break that this was going to be the first time you played that live. Is that true?
Yeah.
That's great, man. Wow.
Well, it's funny because the production of that is, it's very, it's kind of all about the lead guitar in that song, I'm realizing. So it's a little naked, but hey, it's
Yeah.
all right.
You can do some looping if you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned during the first segment that you tend to write from a personal experience. Elaborate more on that.
Well, for example, this song, it's all in, I'm saying, get through to you. What can I get, what can I do? You say your gut can lie. Is it really the case? And all these things. And it's actually me talking to myself. So, it's kind of a looking in the mirror trying to say, the hell are you doing?
When you write a song about somebody, do you tell them it's about them?
Typically not. I try not to.
Can they guess?
Yes, usually yes. I try to be like, I don't know. I have no idea who this is about. You're like, yeah, right.
I want to talk about influences. Who did you grow up listening to? Who are you listening to now?
I grew up listening to, like I said, all the early metal stuff and everything, and then that kind of changed, of course, and I started listening, in the 80s stuff, too. I listened to a lot of 80s bands. I mean, if we go way back, I was big time into the, Adam Ant and Billy Idol and Duran Duran and all that stuff. I mean, my sister and I used to rock out to those things, early Def Leppard, like Pyromania days and stuff, but... yeah, from there, I'd say I got big, after the metal thing, I got big into, obviously, like I said, Toad the Wet Sprocket and that kind of thing. But I also I fell in love big time with Elvis and his music and like all the Sun Records stuff. And that kind of brought me into the country world. And I started discovering all that kind of thing, too. So I still remain a big Elvis fan. And then even on the other side of the Elvis thing, the whole crooner aspect, I mean, I'm a big Dean Martin fan and... all those guys as well, so I always listen to that stuff. It is still up there in my heart. And these days, I've kind of just been I'm a big Josh Rouse fan. I've been listening to a lot of Josh Rouse and Pete Yorn and Griffin House and all those kind of songwriters.
How about on the local scene? Who are you listening to locally?
I need to listen to a lot more locally because I've actually my head has been buried in the sand for the past 2 years, so I'm open to get back in that world. I've been kind of, if I told you what happened the last 2 years. So I need to, I want to hear more of everybody, and I want to get out there and play with everybody and just be in that world.
What's a song you wish you had written?
Oh, wow. That's tough. Man, I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. You stumped me.
How about your most hated song of all time?
Oh, I'm not really. Isn't that? Oh, that's not true. I don't want to bash any artists out there, but yeah, there's some stuff. I'm not a jam band guy. Like that stuff drives me insane. So I would say, probably one of those things.
Gotcha. Understood completely.
Yes.
We'll protect the names to protect the innocent.
I just lost 1 million fans. You don't like them? Forget it.
Share with us again your website and your social media links.
Sure. My website is brianmckenzie.com, and it's BrianMcKenzie. And then Brian McKenzie Music is for all my social media.
It's hard to talk today.
It is. I'm all fired up.
Same way. Let's hear another song. What are we listening to next?
Sure. So this song, I actually I co-wrote it with my buddy. He's a great singer-songwriter, actually, in Austin, Texas. His name is Parker Chapin, and he's fantastic. If you guys look him up, I mean, he's got some really great indie rock kind of singer-songwriter stuff. We wrote this together in Nashville, and it's a song called Color. I actually played it last year. Providence Waterfire had an event online, and they actually reached out, which was pretty awesome, and I was able to play that song, and they showed the video as well. So that's actually on my YouTube page, too, so it's called Color.
Awesome. Brian McKenzie, it's all yours. WATD.
Down and out, still the one dog in the fight. I'm beat up and I'm bleeding, but my bones still feel right. Locked up in my head, shades pulled down and curtains tight. Last handful of pills will get me through the night. 'Cause you pull me through all those dark and lonely days, even when you shouldn't stay. Now I see you brought the color back to me. Still have my moments got a long way left to go. Sun's now beating brighter, and my world's not full of snow. To find me at my best, you're still here despite it all. You got me on my feet, and try my hardest not to fall. 'Cause you pull me through all those dark and lonely days, even when you shouldn't stay. Now I see you brought the color back to me. You brought the color back to me. You brought the color back to me. You pull me through all those dark and lonely days, even when you shouldn't stay. Now I see. Now I see. Now I see. You brought the color back to me.
Fantastic. Brian McKenzie on the tiny stage, WATD. Talk about how you wrote that one.
Yeah, we kind of sat down, Parker and I, and I had already had this kind of guitar melody thing happening already, and then we came up with the chorus first, and then we kind of built the lyrics around it, and yeah, we just kind of just shot ideas back and forth, and it was kind of like one of those Nashville, let's write a song together. So you show up and you throw a song together. So it was pretty quick. We did it in not long, maybe like 20 minutes, and that was it. So yeah.
Was that your first attempt at co-writing?
No, I've done it a few times. I first lived in Nashville in like 2004, and then I had a bunch of friends, songwriter friends there that I would do some co-writing with and whatnot. But I think this is actually the first one that I've put out there, as far as the videos there. I would like to record it, and he was talking about possibly recording it as well. So yeah, this was the first kind of, bigger, I guess, co-write for as far as that goes. Whether
it's a co-write or a solo write, how has your method of songwriting evolved since you first started writing music?
Well, it was first, chugga guitar riffs. So, but I think it's always been the same. I've always been, like I said, a sucker for the melody. So as long as I kind of have something that I feel like I can work off there, it has to mean a lot to me physically, actually. So if I am messing around and I get these chords and I do those things that can kind of put a knife in your gut or has that nostalgic kind of bittersweet vibe, I tend to go more toward that side of things. So when I can make that happen and I can feel it and I feel good about it, then I know I'm onto something, and I kind of keep going from there.
What do you wish you knew back when you first started playing music, playing in bands, signed to the label, even, when you first moved out of the metal phase and into more the Americana phase? What do you know now that you wish you knew then? I
would say probably when I first left the band, I wrote the majority of the music, and they went on and did like Ozfest. So, that was kind of like that was a little tough for me for a little while to be like, oh wow, I left and they went and did that. But actually, over the years, I've been all right. Like I've come to terms with that, and I think, if anything, I think there's that whole, I wish I knew that, but but I think that everything in life kind of puts you in the right direction for something else, and everything that happens kind of leads you into something bigger that was more meant for you. So I'm happy with what I do now. Obviously, it's not to the success level or whatnot. I'm not signing autographs every night and stuff like that, but but it makes me feel good, and it's from my heart and soul. So I I just go with it, and this is where it took me.
Do you have any songs that are maybe too personal to share with people?
Yeah, I wrote one about my father passing away. I haven't actually released it yet or anything, but I do play it every once in a while, and I think I would like to record it. I don't know how well I would play something like that out, but I think just to have it down, because it's not toot my own horn, but it's some of the prettiest guitar work I've ever come up with.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. So, but tough to sing it, of course. But I think that's probably the one that's really hasn't been heard much.
That is Brian McKenzie, and we have 2 more songs left before we have to wrap things up tonight. So what is your second to last song going to be?
This is a tune called Someday, which is on my album Bruising from the Fall.
Okay, Brian McKenzie, WATD, the tiny stage is yours.
Thank you.
I'm just getting number. I can wait till end of summer, then I can wait no more. 'Cause I've been torn and twisted apart in ways that I had almost forgot I could ever feel. Call it intuition, but I've got my own suspicions about you and me. I'm afraid to listen to my heart. I keep on wishing it was you and me. Someday, someday. I'm just getting older now, and I can't help but wonder how much is just wasted time. 'Cause everyone around me settled down and started families, wondering if I'll start mine. Am I too proud and jaded to put my dreams aside to fade away forevermore? There's so much I walked away from, and I know looking back won't help me anymore. Someday, someday. Love and I are strangers, and my heart's the rearranger in this tug of war. Somehow all that changes after every conversation leaves me wanting more. We get by, but we try. We cannot control our lives. We get by, but we try. We cannot control our lives. We get by, but we try. We cannot control our lives. We get by, but we try. We cannot control our someday. Someday.
Excellent. Brian McKenzie joining us tonight on the tiny stage. Talk about how that one was written.
Pretty another personal song. Sometimes it's just those looking at where your life is and comparing it to other people and where they are and whatnot. And I wrote this a while ago, and you really shouldn't do that, but we all do. So just kind of looking at the big picture and what am I going, where am I going, what am I doing? You're sensing a theme here, huh, with my older songs.
It makes for good music, though.
That's what it is. Is where you have to put it. So this is my journal, right?
Do you have a favorite on-stage moment you can share with us?
That's a tough one. It's all been pretty good. I think one of them, I played a show. There's an event, a cooking event actually, in Greenville, South Carolina, called Euphoria, and I didn't know that I was going to be introduced by Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel, which was
cool.
pretty awesome because that guy's awesome, right? And so he came on and we were talking, and he introduced me, and we also had a big interview on the stage and whatnot. Later on, we were like hanging out a little bit afterwards. I gave him a T-shirt. He held it up for me in the photo and whatnot. But he was a cool guy. But just I think more like the unexpected things like that are kind of my favorite thing when you have no idea that stuff's going to happen.
Spontaneity
is the word.
Cool.
Exactly.
Brian McKenzie on the tiny stage tonight. We are up against our final break of the night. We have one more song to share with you and more to talk about as well right after this. 95.9 WATD. It's Almost Famous.
And now, back to Almost Famous on 95.9 WATD.
For the final time this evening, welcome back to the Tiny Stage Hour, 95.9 WATD of Almost Famous. We introduce you to independent bands and musicians from across New England, brought to you by Tiny & Sons Glass. My name is John Shea. For the final time tonight, our guest tonight on the Tiny Stage is Brian McKenzie. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. This feels good. Like I said, I have not even performed pretty much anywhere since Austin, Texas.
Getting back into the groove?
It's back to, yes, feels good. Really
cool.
Thank you.
For any potential upcoming shows and new music releases, where's the best place to follow you?
I would say probably my website, which is brianmckenzie.com, but also my Instagram page, which is Brian McKenzie Music.
And what is out there for music?
I have 2 full-length albums, I have an EP, and I have 2 singles.
Excellent. And all those up on all streaming platforms? All
streaming platforms, yeah.
Very cool. We have one more song left before we wrap things up. What are we closing out the night with? This
is a tune I wrote about, basically it's a summer song. We only have, I'm still holding on to the summer here and wishing it didn't have to end, but this song is called One with the Sun.
Let's hear it. Brian McKenzie, thank you again. Get home safely. We'll talk to you soon and catch you next time.
Much. Sounds great. Thank you.
You asked me for the honest truth. Well, it's all right there in front of you. But we're searching for what feels right. You're questioning away in life. Just get going. Just let go. Just go for a ride down to the coast. Whatever it takes to wake your soul. Become one with the sun. Become one with the sun. Run through the sand and dive in the sea. Remember what life's supposed to be. Become one with the sun. Become one with the sun. Definition of insanity. Expecting better from the same damn things. The romantic curiosity. Can't see the cycle, lunacy. Just let go. Just let go. Just pack all your things and move to a place without one familiar face. Become one with the sun. Become one with the the sun breaks on the ground by a less traveled road. Sowing the seeds so roots can grow. Become one with the sun. Become one with the sun. Impossible to see. You've been wiping the fog off the mirrors and endless circles for way too long. Impossible to breathe. Holding everyone's weight on your shoulders, it's time to let it go. Let's go for a ride down to the coast. Whatever it takes to wake your soul. Become one with the sun. Become one. Run through the sand and dive in the sea. Remember what life's supposed to be.